welcome back to my channel. My name is Desrin. Most people call me Des. Feel free to call me whichever. Now, today's topic is going to be why I stopped taking birth control pills. So, I've been taking birth control for 5 years now. So, ever since I was 13, 14. At first, it wasn't that bad for me. I'll show you the very first birth control that I was put on. It is Loloestrin. They're small blue pills. It's a lower dose of the hormones. It's a combination pill. It's not the progesterone, whatever it's called, only pill. I liked it. I liked being on that pill. Obviously, the first couple months are gonna be rough, which they were. I was a freshman in high school and it was just a lot at once for me. But over time, I was fine on the pill. I didn't really feel like I was really anxious or depressed on the Loloestrin really. It wasn't until recently where I was taking it and I developed a cyst. Now that is the reason why I was on the birth controls, because I would get ovarian cysts. Now if you've ever had a cyst or you know what an ovarian cyst feels like, it's painful. It is painful, and the very first one that I had put me in the hospital because I just let it go for way too long without actually saying anything about it. And they found the cyst, they did an ultrasound, and the thing that they recommended for me to do was to start birth control pills. At that age, I didn't really care. I just didn't want the cyst on my ovary anymore because it was so painful. It was to the point I was pretty much limping. I just didn't want the cyst anymore. I just wanted it to be gone, and that was that. So I was just like, okay, if I have to take birth control, I have to take birth control. Oh well. No one told me the symptoms or side effects of taking birth control. Obviously it says it on the packaging, but as far as the doctors, they didn't tell me, hey, yeah, you might develop depression, you might develop anxiety, and all this other fun stuff that comes with taking birth control. The issue with the pill is that when you swallow the pill, it's going to all of your systems. It's not just going to the affected area. My doctor had said, if you want to take an IUD, if you want to put an IUD in, we can do that too, because then it will disperse the hormones locally. Now, the IUD she recommended for me was Skyla, and I looked it up, I did my research, I read the reviews, and wasn't the best reviews. Like, it didn't have the best reviews, and I just was like, no, not doing it. And also, they don't really recommend it for women that have not given birth yet. Obviously you can still get it. I just didn't really feel like putting myself through that pain. I was kind of sick of having to pump my body with hormones. I didn't want an invasive procedure done like that to me, so I just decided not to do that. When the Loloestrin failed me, because I still developed a cyst after 4 years of being on it, 4.5 years of being on it, they recommended a higher dose pill, so I started taking Taytulla, and these are pink pills. I don't know if y'all can see that. Honestly, the first month was rough. I bled the whole first month. Sorry, this might be TMI for y'all, but it's real life, okay? But I bled the entire month, the first month that I was on Taytulla, and which I kind of expected anyways, but it was just annoying, bleeding all the time, and it wasn't like a normal period. It was obviously light spotting, but it was just a hot mess, and I was not really messing with it. After that first month, I was like, okay, this isn't too bad, and then the depression started to hit. Now, I do suffer from seasonal depression. If you guys don't know what that is, basically, for me personally, it's different for everyone, but for me personally, during the winter and fall, those are just not my months. I'm a complete different person, and it's simply just due to the weather change and all that good stuff that comes with the changing seasons. Not only was I dealing with my seasonal depression and just regular anxiety, but now I had intrusive thoughts, which was something that was not normal for me. If you don't know what intrusive thoughts are, they're pretty much unwanted thoughts that go on in your mind. And for me, it was really bad because it felt like my worst fears were coming to life, but in my head, if that makes sense. It just sucked because these intrusive thoughts just made me feel less than what I am. I know for a lot of people, they feel that way, and it just gets to the point where your head just gets so clouded with these thoughts. It's like you can't even think straight. I would wake up sad, go to sleep sad. 1 minute I'd be fine. 2 minutes later, I just didn't know what I was feeling. And it was so frustrating because for the longest time, I didn't really blame the birth control. Like, I didn't really know what to blame because I just was confused. Once I realized that it was probably the birth control that was causing this, I told myself, okay, Desiree, you gotta do something because feeling like this is not worth it. The only reason why I was on the birth control was because of the ovarian cyst. It got to the point where I would rather have a cyst and be in pain than be depressed on the pill. So it got to the point where I just pretty much said enough was enough. I even talked to my doctor about it. I tried to see what other options I had. They're all medicine related, and I just wanted to stop pumping my body with hormones. Like, I really wanted to stop. That just was not for me anymore. I just need to give my body a break. Like I said, I've been on the pill for 5 years now. Some women have been on the pill for over 10 years and they're perfectly fine, but for me, it just was not a thing. The depression was the #1 reason why I stopped taking it. I have never felt like that in my entire life for so long. It's really just an undescribable feeling. It really is, because I know a lot of people suffer from depression differently, but for me, it just was a constant feeling of emptiness and just being lost within my own brain. And it's such a confusing thing. It really is, especially when nothing around you is going on to make you feel this way, yet you're still feeling this way. And I just felt so stuck. I guess is the best way to put it. Nobody really wants to feel that way. So another big thing was anxiety, like I said. Now, I am terrified of the dark. I'm 18 years old and I will say I am terrified of the dark. That's just simple as that. At nighttime, like sleeping by myself, it just was not good. I would literally be under the covers, terrified for my life. Don't ask me why, but my anxiety was just through the roof. And not just at nighttime, but just during the day. I just felt like being on Taytula, I was so jumpy all the time. And I just was constantly looking over my shoulder. I hated it. I was always scared. And you don't want to live your life scared all the time. And unfortunately, I was for a while. I just hated constantly feeling like I didn't know what was going on around me, and just not being in control was just a really big thing for me. Another reason why I stopped taking the birth control was the mood swings. Oh my goodness, the mood swings were so bad. I would be perfectly fine 1 minute, 5 minutes later, actually for the rest of the day, I'd be mad. And the smallest things would get me upset. When I say the smallest things, I mean the smallest things. Like, somebody's sock could be on wrong and I would be mad for the rest of the day. It just was so ridiculous, and that's not like me. And that's when it kind of clicked in my head, like, Desiree, something really needs to change here, because I didn't feel like myself. I would look in the mirror and it's almost like I didn't even know who I was. And that sounds so dramatic, I know, but it really did feel that way, especially it being my first year in college. That's already a huge environment change, and then changing the birth control and having the first birth control not even work for me anymore. It was just a lot going on, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, just all came together as one, and they just attacked me pretty much. The intrusive thoughts, the depression, the anxiety just was not worth it to me anymore. Like I said, I'd rather have a cyst than be depressed and feel anxious 24/7. I just knew that it was the right thing for me. I wanted to make this video because I know a lot of women out there are either thinking about going on birth control, already on birth control, and thinking about going off it, or they just want to know more about different people's experiences. Like I said, the Lola Western, I was pretty much fine throughout the whole time I was taking it. That was the birth control that I was on the most. Obviously, it wasn't working for me anymore, and switching to the higher dose really just messed me up psychologically. Definitely would say that it's been a complete 180 ever since I stopped taking the birth control. I definitely feel a lot happier. I smile more, I laugh more, I just feel like myself again, slowly but surely. It's not gonna happen overnight. I would say it's been about a month now that I stopped taking the birth control. Also, stopping the birth control comes with its consequences. So unfortunately, I do have a cyst on my ovary right now. Did I go to the doctor to get that confirmed? No, because I know what it feels like by now. This is my third cyst that I've had, and it's on the same exact ovary, so I just know what it feels like. Even the last time when I went to the doctor, I told her, you know, I think I have a cyst on my ovary again, and she's like, okay, well, let's do an ultrasound to make sure, as if I don't know my own body, but whatever. She came back, she's like, yeah, you were right, duh. I just know what it feels like at this point, and a couple days ago, it was very painful for me, like very, very painful for me, but over the past couple days, I've been okay. It's gotten a little bit better, so hopefully my body absorbs it. It's tough. It's definitely tough because, especially with cysts and ovaries, you never know what kind of cyst you might get. You never know how big it might get. You never know how long it will stay on your ovary. And I know it's rare, but let's say I were to get a dermatoid cyst on my ovary or some crazy thing like that, that could potentially kill my ovary. If you're thinking about going off of birth control for similar reasons, definitely do your research, definitely talk to your doctor, because obviously I'm risking possibly losing an ovary, and even though that's exaggerating it, I know, but you really never know what could happen. My doctor also told me to be careful because the cyst can actually cause like torsion, and which basically means that it can twist my ovary. And she had told me, you know, you'll know if it does that because it will be one of the most painful things that you experience. And I was just like, oh, okay, I don't want to experience that. But I haven't really felt any crazy pain like that. Definitely not as bad as my very first cyst that I had. That was just ridiculous. I will keep you guys updated if you guys want to know how I'm doing not taking the birth control anymore. I would love to hear you guys' feedback. I would love to know if you guys are on birth control, what kind of birth control you're on, things like that. I just really want to know everyone's experience because I feel like it's not something that's talked about enough, and that's why I wanted to make this video as well, because I want to open up the conversation about it. I was going through this depression with the birth control, and someone close to me was also going through the same thing, and we didn't even know it because it's just not something that people really talk about like that. And I definitely feel like it should be, because a lot of women are on birth control, a lot of women are thinking about it, and it really does change your body and it changes a lot of things in your life. So it's a very big step. Definitely do your research, like I said before. Talk to people that you trust that are on birth control, that have tried different methods. Not every method might work for you. Fortunately, a lot of people find that out the hard way, but that just comes with the territory. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment below. I would love to hear you guys' feedback. I would love to talk to you guys about this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.